Hey y'all, Aaron here. Welcome to Time Change Sunday. I hope that you're falling back and enjoying the extra hour. I know I am. So here's what we have going on today. It's a new series. We're on our Sunday morning show. We've got a Ronald McDonald House interview here in Rochester. We've got a fun piece of comedy coming, and we're starting a Life That Matters series, and we're talking about generosity today. That said, let's do it. All right, everybody. We have a special guest with us today. We have Jacob Dreyer from our local Rochester Ronald McDonald House. And you are the director of communications. Is that correct, Jacob?
That's correct. Yep. And thanks for having me.
Okay. How long have you been there, Ronald McDonald House?
I have been with the Ronald McDonald House of Rochester for a little bit more than 3.5 years. I actually started right before we broke ground on our very large expansion that we completed just a year ago.
Nice. I love that building right there on 2nd Street, right? That's glorious.
Yep. We love being right here on 2nd Street in downtown Rochester, really close to St. Mary's, really close to the rest of Mayo Clinic as you head into downtown.
Yeah. Well, I was reading your website and it said just steps away from St. Mary's. And I thought, that's true. You guys are like super close. So
yeah, that's something that parents always talk about when they're excited about being able to stay at the house, is just really the close proximity. If they need to get to St. Mary's in the middle of the night, It's literally just a minute walk. But we always hope that that's not the case for anyone. But it's nice to have that close proximity.
Nice. Okay. Well, I have a vague idea of what you guys do there. Could you just give me the rundown, or all of us a rundown of like what is it that you guys do? What's your mission?
Well, our mission at the house is to provide a home away from home for families who are seeking medical care for their children here in Rochester. And so really what that means, a lot of people think that, oh, so you're a place for them to stay. You're like a hotel. Right. And while it's true, rooms are a big part of what we do, providing that overnight place for parents if their child is inpatient, or for the parents and the child who is receiving care if they're outpatient. Really, it's about so much more. It's about the community that we provide. We're a 70-room Ronald McDonald House, which is the largest in the Midwest. And so at any given time, we could have 70 families staying here, and each guest room can accommodate up to 5 individuals. So you do a little math there, and you're talking, 350 people could be in the house at any given time, staying here, utilizing our services. And so when you talk about what we do, in addition to the guest room, like we said, we try to provide whatever they would have at home. They have access to large community kitchens where they can make their own food, enjoy a meal. They have access to a video game room, a craft room. We have a staff member who plans activities and different types of things for the kids to enjoy. We bring in special programming of people from all over Rochester. Healing Rhythms comes in and plays music for the kids. Paw Pals is our pet therapy program. So dogs come in for kids who have often left their beloved pets at home while they come here and get medical care. And so we just try to do whatever we can to truly make it their second home, somewhere where they can feel comfortable coming back after a long day of doctor's appointments at the clinic, at the hospital, where they can come back, relax, and really feel loved.
Wow. Okay. So that blows my mind. So you guys are much more than just a hostel. You are a community living space, a house, a home, like you said. That's awesome. Okay. And I had no idea all those extra, programs, the pets and the music therapy folks came in. That is so cool.
Yep. And all of that's kind of in addition to, some of the other simple things you think of. We have house dinners where, oftentimes when we're maybe in a little bit different time right now, but when we're in normal times, volunteer groups can come into the house and cook a meal and serve it to the entire house. And so people come together to have a meal together. And, children and families often talk about how that was a really impactful thing for them to be able to spend time with other families who are going through similar hardships and really be able to find support and comfort in those moments.
Okay. So say, for instance, our church could round up a group of volunteers and just come down and cook, I don't know, chicken Alfredo for your guests there one night.
Yeah, so obviously right now that program looks a little bit different. We're not currently allowing large groups of volunteers on site to do that. But once we're kind of through our current healthcare crisis and we get back to the normalcy as it were, that's when we will be, excited to bring on those groups. And we try to provide meals for families at least 5 nights a week, sometimes more. Right now, without having those volunteer groups, we are doing more of just people donate money for catered meals. And so then we purchase meals from local restaurants. And so we just really love some of the things that we've been able to do, even in this difficult time, to support families. And that's a really neat one, because not only are we supporting families with the food, but we're purchasing from local businesses. So it's really people donate money to the house to buy food from local businesses to give to families. So it's really just one community helping another.
Yeah, that is so cool. Okay, well, that would be a good thing to say. So how do we donate to you guys? Cash or checks, or how do we do that right now?
Yeah, well, right now during the holiday season, we obviously are getting very excited and ready to bring in a lot of different donations to the house. People can give in so many different ways, and we appreciate all the ways that people can give. Financially, there's places on our website to just give general donations. There are places to contact us to talk about house dinners and donating specifically to a house dinner for children and families. And then just a couple of weeks ago, we launched our website page that talks about the holidays. And so it has all of your frequently asked questions. What do you accept for donations? How can I donate? When can I donate? All of that type of stuff.
Okay.
And, through the holiday season, we do look for, gifts, toys, items for parents, items for kids, because a lot of the families who will be here, they will miss their time of celebrating the holidays at home. And so we try to bring the holidays to them here at the house. And so whether that's with meals on their special days that they're celebrating, or whether that's with gifts that the kids can give their parents and the parents can give their kids, really just a lot of little things that go a long way that we don't really think of, because we don't usually have to be away from home during the holiday season.
Yeah. Well, we from speaking from a personal experience coming to Rochester some years ago, it blows your world up, and you know what I mean. It's just so intensive at the clinic or at St. Mary's that there's no room for anything else. So this service that you guys are providing is like a breath of fresh air. Oh, that's wonderful. Oh.
Yeah, we love this time to be able to really make it better for the kids and families, because it's really hard. It's hard to not be home for the holiday season, to not be surrounded by extended family. So if we can be just a little bit of family for them, it's really just a neat thing that we try to do.
Okay, good. And any, like say if we were to round up, I don't know, a group of carolers during the Christmas season, they come and stand outside your door on the sidewalk and maybe sing or things like that, give donations and gifts. Is that something that would be acceptable?
Yeah, that would be something that you could reach out and talk to our volunteer director, our development director. We have a couple different staff who would probably be involved with something like that, to make sure that we're just in a place where we would feel comfortable inviting you all, because we want you all to be safe, and also having children and families in a place where we're making sure they're safe. Because obviously, the kids who are staying here, they're obviously here for a reason, and it's for very serious medical issues. Right. And so our top priority is always to keep them safe, but we also love the opportunity to show the Rochester community to our families and our children who often are from far away. We get families who travel to Mayo Clinic from all over the world. It's not just even from the country. It's not even just from the state. We have families all the time who are here from all parts of the world. And so it's oftentimes very significant to be spending time in Minnesota, especially in the winter. So anything we can do to make it more of a warm place, we love to do that.
Yeah, I can just imagine flying here from somewhere like the Middle East where it's warm, and then or in Australia, and you fly up here and it's the dead of winter.
Yeah, we've had kids and families who come and who have been here for a long time, and then winter hits. They don't have coats, they don't have hats, they don't have gloves. And so sometimes there's things like that where it's like they've never had to have that before where they live. And so, like I said, there's always just many different ways to give to bless the children and families who are staying here.
Man, the issues you just keep talking about are things you would never even think about. I drive by on 2nd Street. I'm like, oh, families stay there. But man, you guys you're so much more than that. That's
even during this time, a lot of what we've been doing has been trying to find ways to serve families who maybe aren't going to stay here for different reasons. It's a hard time right now, and there are different requirements they have to meet for Mayo Clinic, requirements they have to meet for our global charity. And so sometimes when children and families aren't able to stay here, we're trying to find ways to do a little bit more outreach even. And so we've been providing activity bags, very large bags filled with games, puzzles, books, different things for the kids who might not physically come into the house to get those things. And then also food bags, families travel here, and if we can provide them with groceries so that they don't have to take their kids into a crowded grocery store, just so that they feel comfortable and safe, we can give them a lot of food so that maybe they don't have to do that, maybe at all. So a lot of unique ways. Like I said, it's kind of one of those things where if you have an idea of what you can give or how you can give it, it will probably be a great idea that can work at the Ronald McDonald House.
Yeah, well, you guys are near and dear to my heart because the things you're talking about was the things that my family experienced for 2 years, making that trek back and forth. And you don't even, like you say, you don't even know where the grocery stores are and nothing like that. So, oh boy, you guys just have a sweet spot in my heart. Thank you for your great work. Oh. Well, what are you excited about there at the house that you would like to share with anybody watching, Jacob?
Well, we're always just excited to share the stories of our families. If you go on our website or on our social media, every once in a while, we have a family who they just appreciate what we've done for them, which is always funny to us because we always say we get far more out of it helping them than what they get from us. But then they want to share their story, how their medical journey has been significant, and then the role that the Ronald McDonald House played in that story. And so I always say, I can tell you for hours until I'm blue in the face why the Ronald McDonald House is great. But there are families who, like you just said, have experienced it to a whole nother degree, and they can share with you, they were coming, they had no idea what they were going to do. They didn't know how they were going to do it. But then sitting at the house and experiencing some of the staff members here, the volunteers here, and what they were able to do for them. And it just changed everything. It changed their medical journey. And I think, that's something that you, I'm sure, are very well aware of, but little things like hospitality, little things like love, like care, it can just go along. It changes. It changes how people feel. It changes the outlook on life. And so that's really what we try and do. We try and just make sure that these children and families are cared for in whatever way that they need,
Oh, man, that's fabulous. I just can't stop smiling. Thank you for that. And I appreciate
we're very excited moving forward to fill the house. Obviously, through this time, a lot of organizations have had to have restrictions, not as many children and families around. We're excited when we do have 70 children and families here. And so we're hopeful that we get to that point in this upcoming year where we can be fully operational with all of them in the house. And right now we just provide the services the best we can to the people who are here.
Oh, you guys are great. Thank you for that. Thank you so much. And that's about all I have. And the questions that I have, you've done a great job explaining. Is there any final thing that you would like us to know before we end up today?
Well, I mean, we always talk at the house about how the Rochester community is just so generous. Like our house would not exist. It would not be able to do what it does without the support of individuals, businesses, groups, organizations around the community. We talk to a lot of different houses and staff that don't have the support that we have. It's interesting that a lot of the people who support this house may never set foot inside. They'll never need to use it. They don't need to come for medical care. The people who are traveling from far away, they may never meet them, but we just have been overwhelmed time and time again how generous the Rochester community is. So, I mean, we just want to say thank you. We can't say thank you enough for even just the opportunity to speak about the house, because obviously it's something we're very passionate about, and we're very passionate about helping the kids and families. And so we appreciate the opportunity and are excited for whatever comes our way as part of this, and however we can connect with you.
You bet. I'm super excited. I've got little ideas perking in my brain about what we can do to just help you guys in your mission and make you more successful in our little minutia ways that we can. So if people want to look at your website, what's your website address?
Yeah, website is pretty easy, hopefully. www.rmhmn.org. So
Ronald McDonald House, Minnesota.org.
Exactly. And like I said, on that page, there's links to the page to donate, or there's links to the holidays page, or if you want to look into volunteering and filling out applications to do that. Our volunteer program is incredible. We have hundreds of people who volunteer every year, and it's a great opportunity because our volunteer director and staff really work with people to adjust to their schedules. We have nurses from Mayo who work night shifts, but they want to volunteer, so they volunteer odd hours in the morning, or we have people throughout the days or on the weekends. And so if it's something you've ever thought about, it's a great time to maybe just check in and see what opportunities are there.
Good. And if you guys are like every other business in town, everyone's hurting for qualified help right now. So wonderful. Right. Well, thank you, Jacob, for your time today. Again, Jacob Dreyer from from Ronald McDonald House here in Rochester. Thank you for sharing your story, your life, and your passion with us today.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me. And if you ever have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out.
Wonderful. All right. Thank you so much.
What you doing?
Oh, hi, honey. Oh, I didn't realize you came home.
Well, I'm a pastor. I don't work. What's up?
I'm cleaning out your closet.
Why are you cleaning out my closet?
You have some old clothes.
What do you mean? Those fit. Those fit. Cat. Okay, maybe those don't fit. Remember when I was that skinny?
Oh, yeah.
I was hot. What do you mean? Okay, all right, you can get rid of those.
Yeah, did you?
Work pants.
But you can't even bend over in them. I don't think those are work pants.
Depends on what kind of work you're doing. Sorry. All right. Okay, now you can't get rid of that. That was a gift.
Seriously?
My parents got me that. It's funny. You know that's funny. All right. So what? We're taking these to the dump then?
Yes.
Garbage can?
Garbage can. So I also have a load of clothes from my closet. So
Okay.
And seriously, they have holes in them. They're stained.
Right.
No one wants them.
Yeah, no good. Okay. Wait a minute. Listen to the missionaries. Missionaries, baby. This primo missionary attire. Hey, beggars can't be choosers. Don't throw them away. Let's give them to the missionaries. I love the work that those guys are doing down at Ronald McDonald House. I get so excited about that. I can tell you we're going to be involved, at least our family, and I hope you guys will get involved too. We've got some of those. Check out their lists. They're an awesome place. All right. So let's move into a life that matters. I'm going to talk about it out of Mark 12 today. Jesus and some scribes and a woman who gave a little bit of money. So let's talk about this. So some years ago, not too long ago, there was a big study of 8,400 adults, and I think it was here in the States. 8,400 adults, and let's see, I've got it right here so I don't remember. Now, those with a high sense of purpose, it was of older adults. Older adults with a high sense of purpose lived to an average of 89 years old. Those with a lower sense of purpose only lived to an average of 75. So you can see that's a 14-year difference just because purpose and meaning in life. It makes a big difference. And I think so many of us in America are searching for meaning and matters because things are so big. You feel like, well, I don't matter. My vote doesn't matter. My voice doesn't matter. Nothing matters. Like Freddie Mercury, nothing really matters to me. All right. And in churches too, right? Sometimes in a church we can feel like we don't matter, like we're not doing much good for anybody. It's a big thing. So let's talk about purpose. And we're going to use Jesus' words to his disciples in Jerusalem, Mark chapter 12. So let's start talking about a life that matters is a life of generosity. That's week 1, generosity. Okay? And I'm going to read to you out of, the New Revised Standard, Mark 12, 38 through 44. Okay. Now, as Jesus taught, he said, "Beware of the scribes who like to walk around in long robes and be greeted with respect in the marketplaces, and to have the best seats at the synagogues and the best places of honor at banquets. They devour widows' houses, and for the sake of appearance say long prayers. They will receive the greater condemnation." Okay, let's continue on. Now he sat down opposite the treasury. Now this is in the temple, right, in Jerusalem. He sat down opposite the treasury and watched the crowd putting money into the treasury. Many rich people put in large sums, and a poor widow came and put in 2 small copper coins, leptons, which were worth 1 penny. Then he called his disciples and he said to them, "Truly I tell you, this poor widow has put in more than all of those who are contributing to the treasury. For all of them have contributed out of their abundance, but she out of her poverty has put in everything she had, even what she had to live on." I'm kind of getting my notes up here. All right, so Jesus is talking about, well, I'm going to take this out. A life that matters is a life of generosity, not a life of greed, not a small petty life. A life that matters is a life of generosity. To understand this, let's do a little bit of historical thinking. The scribes were dudes who, of course, wrote things down. Hey, all right. Anyways, big noise. They wrote things down for higher up officials, especially in Jerusalem, where, the seat of government. They wrote down lots of stuff for, they taught the law of Moses, the Torah. They even acted as mid-level bureaucrats. So these guys were pretty, I guess, influential, powerful, if you will, in their places. But the problem was, it was tradition not to pay them. They didn't get paid for their work because there was a tradition that said, don't make the Bible into a shovel to dig and make money with. So they got nothing. And so generally these scribes, even though they were well respected, had hardly any money. They were very poor. Okay, so that's where they were. Now, but what did they get? Jesus said, well, they wore very long white robes, linen, with fun little tassels at the bottom. Okay, that's what they did. So it set them apart that way, right? People in town would wear colors, other kind of robes, but these dudes just wore white. Now, as Jesus said in his passage there, it was tradition that when a scribe would walk down the street through downtown, the marketplace, the people, everybody except those who were, busy, making leather belts or whatever, tents, everybody had to stand up as a show of respect and honor. At synagogue, every Saturday, they got the best seat in the house, the seat of honor. And then at banquets, big fancy dinners, they would always get the best seat of honor right next to the host, even above the host's parents, or these guys really got it. Now, and then Jesus says they devour houses. What's that about? Well, these fellows, they were poor, right? But it was considered an honor to have them into your house if you had a spare room. But of course, human nature being what it is, sometimes these fellows would be sponges, total mooches, and just, well, eat the widow out of house and home, okay? Eat the woman out of house and home, just taking, and just being awful people. Okay, that's the first piece we need to understand. Now, they went over to the temple and they watched. They just sat there and watched. Now, tradition says that in the temple giving area, when people would come, there were 13 large trumpet-shaped receptacles where people would put their offerings, okay, their money offerings. Some sources also say that it would be loudly announced what you gave. How would we like that if you went to a church service, right? Aaron Justice, $2. Anyway, so we have large sums being placed in by wealthy people. Hey, awesome, right? Nothing wrong with being wealthy. Nothing wrong with putting in large sums into the offering. Good on them, right? As long as you're not greedy. There can be greedy rich people and greedy poor people, so we've got to keep, money is, the love of money is the root of all kinds of evil, so it says in the New Testament. All right, so people putting in large sums, cool, and then Jesus sees this widow put in 2 copper coins, little copper coins that said all she had to live on. Now, you'll remember, historically, in that day and age, women couldn't work a respectable job. There was one job they could work that was very unrespected in wink, wink, nudge, nudge. So this, the women in the day and age had to rely on male relatives, dad, husband, brothers, uncles, sons, to work and make money for them. But we don't know any of that. It just says a widow who's poor. So we're going to assume she's by herself, all alone, and doesn't have a way of making more money. And she drops in 2 leptons, 2 small. The smallest, the things are like, they're so small you could barely engrave them with an image. That's how small they were. She puts them in, and Jesus says, bam, there you go. This woman gave everything. This woman put in 2. She didn't keep 1 for herself. She put in both. She has put in more than the rich people. Again, nothing wrong being rich if you hold it in the proper place, and putting in lots of money, nothing wrong with that. Okay, so let me check my notes again here as we continue on. Sorry, I'm just kind of throwing this together as kind of a fill-in. So let's do this. Bam, 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 bam. Now, there's a saying, excuse me, I came across this great saying the other day that said, show me what you fear and I'll tell you you're God. Wow. At first I was like, huh? And then I got thinking about it. Show me what you fear and I'll tell you you're God, or opposite. Okay. Well, let's think about that. The scribes were Jesus was painting them, some of them, in a bad light, right? These men were very afraid of losing money, the prestige, honor, saying long prayers, looking very pious. They were afraid of losing that. In fact, they worked to keep that. That's, if you start with the end in mind, their end was to keep that. And so they feared that their God was not God. Their God was keeping what they had. Okay, that's what they feared. And so you can't be a teacher of the law if you're a hypocrite, right? That's why it says don't be, in the Bible, it says don't be a teacher because you're judged more harshly. And boy, don't I know that. So what I'm going to say to you guys is these guys were hypocrites, and they couldn't teach. Now, not all of them. Of course, there were good scribes, and of course, there were bad scribes. These fellows Jesus is referencing, how many ever there were hypocrites and couldn't teach. They couldn't follow God because they were following their God. Prestige, position, influence, and maybe money too. Now, we come to the woman who had everything to fear. What would this woman fear? Well, death, right? She would fear death, because if she gave everything she had to this temple, to God's service, what would she have to live on herself? Nothing, right? I mean, like I said, she put in both. She didn't keep one for God, one for me. No. She put them in both. She had no fear of that. So that money wasn't her. Well, money wasn't her God. Who was her God? Well, God, Yahweh, the God revealed by Jesus. That's who she revered. That's who she followed. That's who she loved. That's the important part. So now let's swing over here. Why was she so generous as compared to the rich people? Well, because it hurt. Plain and simple, it hurt. Let's say Elon Musk shows up at a church service and drops in a mill, cool mill into the offering plate. Man, $1 million cash, bam! How much does he have left? Or Jeff Bezos, right? Drops in $2 million in cash. Oh, that looks awesome, doesn't it? But dude, these guys are billionaires. That's not even that's like front pocket change, right, to these fellows. It didn't hurt. They don't even miss it. They don't even miss it. Now, let's talk about the woman. She had nothing to live on. She would like starve without food. And yet she gave it to God. What she gave hurt. And that's what differentiates generosity from just mere charity. Generosity is from your need, what you need to live yourself, what hurts, what matters to you. You give that away in honor of God to someone else. That's true generosity, as compared to just front pocket change, giving a sandwich to a homeless person. Yeah, here you go, leave me alone. It hurts. And that's what made this woman better at this particular point than the rich people. Again, nothing wrong with being rich, nothing wrong with giving a lot, if you keep it in perspective. So Jesus is saying here, this woman gave more. Now, let's get back to our main point. A life, sorry, hit the wrong button. A life that matters is a life of generosity. A life that matters, a life of meaning is one grounded in a life of generosity. Okay? So there are studies, and I kid you not, there are well done researched studies that show you get happier the more money you make until you reach $75,000 a year. You get happier, $75,000 a year. Okay, then it levels off. Your happiness level, because right, you've got enough money to pay the bills, your home, pay the gas, a car, insurance, maybe send your kids to school or buy them a puppy, whatever. Okay, so it levels off, your happiness levels off. Then at 105 a year, it starts to actually decline. Your happiness starts to decline after 105 a year, 105,000. Okay, let me say that again. Your happiness increases until you have enough, 75K a year. Then at 105K a year, your happiness starts to decline. Because money gives no meaning. Possessions give no meaning. These are tools to live a true life. They do not give life. They are tools to live a life. Okay? They are tools to make you and me better, to be more generous. A life that matters is a life of generosity. Okay? Let me tell you what. April and I, we give 10% of our income to God's service in the church. Not bragging. It's just what it's a number from the Old Testament that we appreciate, and we do that. Now, I'm not saying that to brag to you. I'm saying that we could use that money other places, right? But we chose to give it to God because God, we feel, calls us to that, and that makes our life richer. We don't. God takes care of us for that. A life of meaning is found in helping others. A life of meaning is found in giving to other people and making their life better, in building relationships, saving life, promoting life in others, not being a greedy, grasping person, or patting ourselves on the back because we give what we think is enough, but really we don't even miss it because we've planned it that way. A life that matters. I'm going to challenge you to be a generous person. Time, talent, treasures. Okay. One time we had a gal brought us dinner a long time ago, brought us dinner, and we're like, oh, sorry, this is putting you out. Thanks for doing it. And she's like, yeah, it really did put me out. Okay, then why did you do it? Right? So of course it's going to put you out. Everything is hard. Things in life that matter are hard and they cost us something. I mean, that's if it didn't matter, if it didn't cost us anything, it wouldn't matter. Well, you know what I mean. I just said that. Anyway, so I'm going to challenge you today to examine your life as we start this stewardship campaign at our church. And I'd encourage you to go to the website and hit the donate button, click the likes and subscribe. As we go on in this, I'm going to say, this week, I challenge you to step out in generosity at least once. Give something of meaning to someone, to something, whether that's time or your skills and your talents or money. It doesn't always just have to be money, okay? But I'm going to challenge you to do that and see how that changes your life. Like we just heard in our interview, we may think we're giving to or we may think we're giving like at Ronald McDonald House, but we get more blessing from that. So I'm going to challenge you to be that kind of person today. All right, thanks. Okay, everybody, thanks for joining us today. Visit the Ronald McDonald House, Minnesota website. Click on links, give to that great organization. Go to our website, homesteadumc.org, and click donate there. Be generous this week, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.